Next on the wheel is going to be a laid stitch, and this is a very straightforward stitch really compared to others that we've done. It's used when you want to keep the embroidery quite flat. So for example here, it's just a stitch that goes backwards and forwards, and this is my needle case here. I've got some gold padding here, so I wanted a contrast between the gold and the embroidery. So let's look at it on the wheel. Now I thought we'd do some acorns, and the hardest thing about this bit is actually drawing the acorn. So have a look at some images before you actually start and practice. It's a bit like, I don't know, a bell shape sort of. It's a little tiny point at the end, and then you've got this bit around the edge, which we're going to actually do in French knots. But you can see to do the lathe stitch, I've outlined the shape in split back stitch, and I've done both of them. I haven't done this bottom bit here because that's going to get covered up later on. Now I've chosen an acorn because it's got quite a smooth end and a knobbly bit at the bottom here, so you want to see the contrast. And I'm using a sort of acorn coloured thread, but you could do it in green if you wanted as well. So come up at the line in the middle of the shape at the bottom, and then take your needle across the shape to the outside of your split back stitch. And now you're going to work one way or the other and bring your needle up immediately next to where you went down, not through the same hole. So the threads lie immediately side by side without any gap. And then bring your needle up to next to where you went down and outside of the split back stitch. And then again. So I'm starting in the middle of the shape because it's much easier to get the line straight than if you'd started at the edge. Generally, you'd always start in the middle of a shape when you're covering an area. There are exceptions, but generally that's what you would do. And then go to the other side and fill this area in the same way. So backwards and forwards. If you look on the back, you should have little stitches and not long stitches like this. So it's not like satin stitch where you go around the back as well. So and then we'll do another one. I think that'll do. So I'm going to thread up a different colour now and do some French knots across the bottom here, and then complete the other one. So I'll come back and show you that. I'm going to do some French knots at the bottom, and I'm using a slightly thinner thread because I want them to be really tiny. So just one wrap and down into the fabric. I'm not sure I've got the right colour here, but we'll see what it looks like. I might put some another colour in as well. So you're just going to fill in the bottom of that shape, going around the sides as well. So we're going to go all the way around the edges here. I'm going to come back and show you the second colour when I've done a bit more, because I don't think you can see this very well against the fabric, because it's more or less the same colour. I actually quite like this colour now. It's starting to come to life a bit now I've done a few more. So literally just pack them in. So where you can see a gap, put a knot. You want this to look more raised from the surface than your original laid stitch, so it needs to look as if it's on top, and you can actually do a few almost on top of your laid stitch. So don't forget to go a little bit around the corner here. I think we're nearly there. I'm going to do the other one, and then we're going to do the stalk, I think in a coral knot stitch for a change. So I will show you that again. I finished my little French knots, and now I'm going to put a stem in with coral knot stitch for a change. So if you're right-handed, you're stitching from right to left and lay your thread across, and then go to the top and then come up on the bottom of that line to make a little knot. So to the top of the line and then bottom of the line, keep this thread underneath your needle to form a knot. Let's go this way. I'm just going to do a little stitch there to finish that way, and I think a little stitch to this one will be enough. And there's your acorns.